Unrest brews in the Middle East as the conflict between Hamas and Israel escalates. This recent surge in tensions has been spurred by a series of events, each contributing to the escalating situation. In a mission named Breaking Dawn, Israel launched airstrikes in Gaza, targeting Taysir Jabari, a top military commander of the Islamic Jihad militant group. These strikes have raised concerns about a potential full-scale war in the region. Simultaneously, the conflict is being fueled online through the use of a covert language known as algo-speak. Pro-Palestinian activists have been using this language to bypass social media algorithms, allowing them to voice concerns, but also enabling some to spread extreme or even hateful rhetoric. The use of this coded language has raised questions about the role of social media in moderating online dialogue and the need for more sophisticated content moderation systems. On the ground, the situation has taken a turn for the worse, with Israeli forces conducting land incursions into Gaza. These operations have been particularly focused on medical facilities, including Al-Shifa Hospital, the largest in Gaza, resulting in significant casualties. While Israel alleges that Hamas has military facilities under some of these hospitals, Hamas vehemently denies these claims. As the situation becomes increasingly volatile, it's crucial to understand the historical context behind these ongoing issues. To comprehend the current tensions, we must travel back in time to the origins of the conflict between Hamas and Israel. In the aftermath of World War II, a new nation was carved out in the Middle East. Israel was established in 1948, a homeland for Jewish people after the horrors of the Holocaust. However, this new state was not welcomed by everyone. The creation of Israel led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, igniting the spark of a conflict that still burns today. In the midst of this turmoil, a new player entered the stage. Born in 1987, Hamas emerged from the First Intifada, or uprising, against Israeli occupation. Its founders were members of the Muslim Brotherhood, and they sought to establish an Islamic state in the area that is now Israel, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. Hamas quickly gained popularity among Palestinians for its resistance to Israeli rule and its provision of social services to the impoverished Gaza Strip. But the conflict was not one-sided. The Israeli government and military fought back, leading to a cycle of violence that has persisted for decades. The Oslo Accords, signed in the early 90s, were meant to bring lasting peace to the region. These agreements established a Palestinian Authority with limited self-rule, but they did not resolve the fundamental issues at the heart of the conflict: the borders of Israel, the status of Jerusalem, and the rights of Palestinian refugees. In the years following the Oslo Accords, hope for peace gradually faded. Hamas continued its campaign of violence, including suicide bombings and rocket attacks, while Israel maintained its military occupation and settlement expansion in the West Bank. The peace process stalled, and the violence escalated. The path to the present has been marked by a series of failed peace attempts and escalating violence. The conflict between Hamas and Israel is not just about religion or territory. It's about history, identity, and a struggle for justice and freedom. As we look to the future, we must remember the past and strive to understand the complex origins of this enduring conflict. This cycle of conflict, marked by periods of intense violence and tentative calm, continues to shape the dynamics between Hamas and Israel. Let's rewind to the early 21st century, to the Second Intifada, a time of heightened Palestinian-Israeli tensions. This period saw an increase in suicide bombings, military operations, and overall violence. It set the stage for a hardened stance on both sides, creating a chasm that is yet to be bridged. Fast forward to 2007, when we see the Gaza Strip's blockade. This blockade, imposed by Israel, aimed to stop the smuggling of weapons to Hamas, but resulted in a humanitarian crisis. The Gaza Strip, once a bustling coastal enclave, turned into a pressure cooker of despair and defiance. The recurring patterns of rocket attacks from Hamas and retaliatory strikes from Israel have become a grim and predictable part of life. These episodes of violence punctuate periods of uneasy calm, further deepening the wounds of this protracted conflict. This continuous cycle has left both sides in a state of perpetual tension and hostility. As the conflict continues to evolve, the future remains uncertain. The current tensions, marked by escalating violence and rising discord, could potentially spiral into a full-scale war, a prospect that the world dreads. It is in these times of crisis that the role of international intervention becomes paramount. The international community, along with organizations such as the United Nations, must step up their efforts to mediate and facilitate dialogue between the two parties. The challenge lies in addressing the root causes of the conflict, rather than just the symptoms. This means grappling with long-standing territorial disputes, acknowledging past failures, and striving for a resolution that is equitable and sustainable. However, the road ahead is not straightforward. It's filled with political intricacies and historical sensitivities. Each move, each decision, needs to be thoughtfully considered, ensuring it doesn't exacerbate the situation or reignite old feuds. The digital landscape, too, plays a significant role. The use of coded language, or algospeak, by activists to evade social media scrutiny underscores the need for more sophisticated content moderation systems. It's a delicate balance between maintaining freedom of speech and preventing the spread of harmful propaganda. While the road to peace may be fraught with complexity, understanding the history and dynamics of the conflict is the first step in finding a solution. The path ahead is undeniably challenging, but it's a journey that we must embark on for the sake of peace, justice, and humanity.